Mankind, guys, love and darling, the gender inappropriate words Qantas has banned its staff from using. Don't worry guys, they're only a guideline. They're not mandatory. Apparently. As the airline outlaws husband and wife for fears it could be offending gay passengers. How about this, Qantas? If you don't call my wife a wife, if you don't call a husband, people are just going to start boycotting your service. And then you won't have any passengers to worry about offending. People are over this PC bullshit. And you are you are jumping into a shark tank, you really are. Australian airline Qantas has told staff to use gender appropriate terms and avoid saying husband and wife because it may offend the LGBTI community. By the way, I think you might have left a few letters off that, so you might have offended them also. But anyway. Qantas People and Culture Group's exclusively Leslie Grant issued an information booklet detailing how to make employees feel more comfortable at work in line with airlines' Spirit of Inclusion Month, the Daily Telegraph reported. It asks employees to stop using words such as honey, darling, love, because they have the capacity to offend. And of course, making your staff run through a legal minefield while being extremely careful about what they say and constantly walking around on glass is making a safe and fair workplace. It also advertises staff to use partner instead of husband and wife and parents instead of mum and dad because it could exclude the LGBTI families. The PACS asked Qantas workers not to use gender inappropriate terms as mankind or fireman. Can I get off this ride, please? The information states language can make groups of people invisible. For example, the use of the term chairman can reinforce the idea that leaders are always men. Okay, whatever. Words like love, honey, darling were even used in terms of endearment, often offend. And in the workplace, it's best to avoid these sort of words. They're not correcting speech. They're not informing you what words you can and cannot use. They're just telling you what words you can and cannot use. Miss Grant told staff she wants the work environment at Qantas to be a place that everybody feel comfortable to bring their whole selves to work. Except for the people that don't want to walk around on glass trying to watch everything they say because they might offend somebody. That they can feel completely unsafe at work and have their constant job in jeopardy. But as long as the LGBTQI whatever community feels fine, that's good. That's what we want. We got a panda, remember? The material was produced by the Diversity Council of Australia. Where's Andy Worski when you need him? Daily Mail Australia has contacted Qantas for comment. So this is another part of the article that we were talking about. The major, or this is the original article that they've quoted, the major thing in this article is a 16-minute audio where Miranda Devine, might be mispronouncing, actually goes through and interviews the CEO of Diversity Council, Lisa Hankins. Might be mispronouncing. But look, I'm not going to play the whole thing because it does go for 16 minutes. I'll play a little bit of the highlights for you, and then we'll do the wrap-up.
Well, I mean, do you think that telling people that they're not allowed to use certain words like guys or honey or doll or any of those kind of normal terms of endearment or social lubrications, by telling them that they're not allowed to use those words because they're somehow offensive, is making them happier?
No, because I don't think that's actually not what we're doing. What we've done is we've developed a series of guidelines around language. Language, I mean, you're an expert at words. You write all the time. Language is a fluid thing, and it's always changing. It's always evolving, as are our workplaces. We've developed a series of guidelines to help our organisations navigate around certain complexities. If you've got, for example, a situation where someone has, use sexist language in a workplace, here's a toolkit that we've got that can help you have a conversation around it. There's no word that's off limits. We're not telling people what they can and can't say. Our guides are structured to say you might want to think about language in this way, because ultimately you have to accept the consequences for the way you speak to people in the workplace. If you want to call all the women in your work Dal, Love, Sheila, whatever, great. But expect that some women are no longer going to be engaged with your workplace. They might actually look to work somewhere else. If instead you want to treat people with respect and treat them with equality and refer to people by their name, for example, then you might have a different outcome. So it's about the choices people make around the words that they use and the impact that has on other people. So they're guidelines. It's certainly not a rule book, and we're certainly not telling people what words they can and they can't use.
But you know that when you work for a company and their human resources, or they call them people and culture department, sends out guidelines, that is an expectation in the workplace, and it's sending a message to people who just naturally use those words without giving offence, that they are being offensive, and it tells other people that they should be offended. And this just goes against normal human interactions. And, you know, I want to ask you today, these words that you've put into this, or Qantas on your guidance has put into this voluminous booklet that they've issued to all staff. You've put in there terms that you have deemed to be offensive today in, March 2018. But in 5 years' time, there will be different words. Political correctness evolves, and it's really about power, isn't it? It's about the power to tell people how to think and what language to use.
No, I think it's about an organisation determining what type of organisation it wants to be. Does it want to be an organisation where people come to work and they feel like, they can just get on with the job? Or do they want to be an organisation where people come to work and there might be joking that they feel excluded from? We don't want to make the workplace like the playground. We're grown-ups in the workplace. We want to treat people with respect. So you're
then
right.
Why don't you just let them talk the way they normally do in their normal life instead of behaving like robots in the workplace?
Well, people can talk the way they normally do in
their
normal
life. No, they can't,
life.
because I say, hey, guys, all the time to people at work. And somehow that's now politically incorrect, sexist. I don't know what it is. Well, I don't know what's wrong with it. I know people who call me Dal, and I think it's nice. I wouldn't call someone Dal because it's not just the way I talk. But people who use that language, it's not offensive. I don't find it offensive. I don't want to be told that I should find it offensive.
So, yeah, at the end of the day, look, apparently it's a guideline, but if the companies were to adopt it as a rule, then that's okay, but they're not telling people what they can and can't use. But if your workplace wants to be a safe and comfortable workplace, then, you should adopt these new rules. Like, it sounds very, very, like, hey, it's like when you go to the mafia. The mafia is like, hey, you don't want your store busted up, so what we're going to do is you're going to give us $100 a week and we'll give you protection. If you don't pay the $100 a week, we bust the store up. It sounds very much like that sort of power play. And this is why people have a big problem with progressives and the whole social justice warrior mentality. Just the fact that it is very much trying to dominate and control and tell people what they can and can't do. But hey, it's not rules. We're not telling companies they have to enforce it. If they do, then that's just, they do that on their own. We don't boycott them if they don't, for example. Yeah, it's very, very under the table. But I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Did you listen to the whole article? I pretty much... My takeaway from this is that Marina really did rail her in the interview. She even got to the point at the end of the interview where she was sounding a lot like a triggered snowflake. As for the whole Qantas thing, I'm against it. I won't be flying Qantas anymore. I also want to contact Jetstar and find out if they're going to go through and do the same thing. then maybe I'll start flying Virgin. I can't imagine Virgin Airlines going through and doing it. But guys, let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. If this video has been helpful, please smack a like. If you're new to the channel, welcome and subscribe. Apart from that, guys, I'll see you in the next demonetized video from YouTube. Have a great day and enjoy.